My next guest says that anger isn't just a barrier in your relationships, it can actually ruin your relationships. Studio 5 contributor Dr. Liz Hale has 4 steps she wants you to take the next time you feel those angry feelings start to flare up. Good to see you, Lizzie.
Nice to see you.
And before we actually get into that, I found this interesting. You actually relate anger to pride.
Anger to pride, yes. You know, it's kind of interesting. Martin Buber is really the one I give credit for. He was like a dialogue philosopher in the early to mid 1900s. He said, there's 2 ways for me to look at you, if I can.
Yeah.
It would be, one is if you are a thou versus an it. A thou meaning you have thoughts and feelings that are as important to me as my own, or an it meaning you're a stumbling block, you're getting in my way of me getting my way. So when I treat you like an it, I have made myself the center of the universe. It's all about me, myself, and I.
And those are the 2 ways that you can view a human, and anger kind of puts you in that me, myself, and I category.
And we get away with nothing. We get away with nothing. So the way I treat you very much affects the way I feel about myself.
You like to draw upon an analogy that anger is this recipe for disaster.
Oh, it's so cute. I give Lynn G. Robbins all the credit. Is that darling? Look at that. So you put tempers on medium heat, stir in a few choice words, bring to a boil, thicken and cool down, chill for several days. Serve cold, and there's lots of leftovers.
Yeah,
is that clever?
That'll do it, won't it?
Yeah, yes,
that'll do it.
Without a doubt. You know, something else I think is really interesting in African medicine. It's thought that the Maasai tribe would actually, their healers would actually ask their patients, not where do you hurt, but whom have you hurt?
Oh.
That causes the greater hurt within us is not when people hurt us, but when we hurt them.
Yeah.
Again, we really get away with nothing in our relationships.
Let's start there, because the repercussions are layered. This idea that anger hurts us, that's the first kind of point of pause.
Yep, it does. We get away with nothing. In other words, when I harm you, that harm comes greater fold to me. It's not really the harm that you do to me. You know, forgiveness has a lot to do with this. A friend of mine wrote a book called 70 times 70 times 7 rather, and it's powerful, this what we do to others versus what others do to us. That's really where the power is.
The research shows us that anger has some physical repercussions
too. Just last year, the National Institute of Health Sciences said that the heart is actually hurt. I thought that was interesting that even brief bouts of anger impaired the ability of blood vessels to expand and contract, causing these consequences. And there's other damaging effects that have been proven, such as on inflammation or lung functioning, chronic pain, digestion, skin flare-ups, sleep disturbances. I think of extreme stress and anger very much in the same category.
What it does to the body and how it affects us that way.
How it hurts us.
Why is anger so eroding to a relationship? That's sort of a big question.
You know, anger doesn't just knock on the door, it kicks it in. It is big. I received a text from someone just 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't really tell who it was from. They didn't give a name. The text just said, I think my family needs family therapy. Can you help? So I called the number back, and this young man answered. He was a freshman away at college, and he said, you know what, I just talked to my younger siblings at home late last night, and they're in tears. My family's facing the same angry dialogues that I had when I was living there, and I think we really need some help.
What a wise young man.
Wasn't that just so tender?
Yeah.
So he told his parents, he gave them my name and number, and credit to the son and credit to the parents. They came in and we met, and they're starting a new interaction, a new way of being together.
They're working on it.
Yeah,
oh,
that was
that's
tender.
Sweet. That's really sweet. You've seen anger limit the ability to be reasonable as well. I found that interesting.
We're not very reasonable. Again, I me, myself, and I'm all wrapped up in me. We use justifications like, well, I lost my temper, or he made me so mad, or she hit me first, or she reached out first and said that terrible thing, I can't help myself. But anger is always a choice. We always have agency with anger. Always, always. In any moment of conflict, we can choose between contention or connection.
So take the higher road.
We're never off the hook. If you want to be happy, take the higher road. You
have an acronym that in the moment we can think of and practice and implement, and it's STOP. It's like a stop sign. Oh yeah, I do love the stop sign. You know, stop is for us, it's like just stop right there, just freeze, right? Don't move, breathe. T is think. You know, how do you want to show up here? Observe is use your senses, right? What are you tasting? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you smelling? Think of those things that, okay, just let me ground myself. And then P is proceed ahead in a way that you're most proud of. Stop, think, observe.
Observe, like, what am I thinking, feeling? What can I do? How do I ground myself? And then proceed.
I think of that family that you referenced, and I think of the many couples that you've helped work through these, I don't know if we can call them cycles, but anger reactions.
Sure.
What's the payoff, Lizzie, if someone takes the time to invest in this and to do this work? Because it can be work to fight against those natural, what feel like natural inclinations or outbursts. What's the payoff for a family or a couple who does that?
You know, we are never not in relationships, right? We're always with each other. It's always our connections that matter most. So what better payoff than those close, loving connections where someone looks at you and they trust you. They have those eyes of trust, like, oh, Liz is safe. I have a safe connection here, and I don't think it just gets any better than that, to be safe, emotionally safe with each other.
Thank you for these words and that formula. We'll be thinking of that and thinking of you when we put it into practice.